It's Leanne Peters here. Oh, I need to have this a little higher. It's Leanne Peters here. This is our Patreon healing event for July 2023, and I'm very excited to be here today. The energy wants to be gentle and rhythmic, so I've created a nest here in my singing bowl for those of you on the healing list today. So this is nest. There, oh, that's better. So I'll talk about that more in a moment. So I want to thank you so much for your support to my July patrons. I have 30 people on our healing list today who are participating in this event, and I've popped your names in this little cute little glass pot. So the intention is I'm going to pull your names out of here, pop you into this nest. So I went and collected these things this morning. We've got a bit of blackwood. We had a really stormy wind last night and a branch of the blackwood fell off, so I grabbed some little pieces of blackwood. Hi, Janice. We've got a little bit of, I think it might be tea tree, I'm not sure because it was planted before we moved in. I've also got some lavender, not much because it's winter. Lavender's not that good right now. And I've got some lemon thyme, which is smelling yummy. And then some fennel. Fennel grows really well here, and I love fennel. And it's sitting here as the soft innards of our nest. So that's where I'm going to put you. So I just thought, when I was... when I feel upon the theme and the energy for these events a few hours before, sometimes the night before, but usually it's as I'm preparing in the mornings. And I just kept feeling this gentle rhythmic energy, and I was feeling on, how could I create a space of healing around that, and how can I use that as a way to support those of you on the healing list? And I was inspired to make a nest. So it feels just beautiful sitting here. So earthy and so comforting and so supportive and very gentle. So that's what I want to do. I've got my chimes here because I thought these were the best rhythmic thing to use. So after I've put your names in here, I'm going to use the rhythm of the chimes to create a gentle rhythm too. So let's start, I think, by pulling a healing energy card, just for all of us at this time. So what do we need to know? I might actually sit this in the nest. That's my intention. So I want to find one card that the majority of us need as we start this time of healing. So welcome to one and all. So the best card that the majority of us need as we start this healing event is this card here. It's from the original deck, and it's card, yes, card 22, Healing Hands. I love this card, and it's so palpable, like the energy of it. At times when I've been feeling like physically unwell, I go straight to this card in my deck. Card 22, it's in the action category, and down here it says, hands. Geez, there's energy stirring in the throat. Hands, creativity, expression, building, making, caring, nurturing, receiving, emitting, extension, intentions, and bring something into form, receiving. So at the very least, all of those of you on the healing list, and those of you who are joining in today as well, you can imagine yourself receiving the healing energy that wants to come through for you today. So I'm actually going to sit this here. I'm going to tuck it into the nest as a way to support and hold the space for healing. So I think this is a really good time to add people to the list. So I've got 30 people here. I'm just going to pluck your name out of here. I'm going to say your name. So when I say your name, I'm holding the intention that you're being placed in this nest, or we could imagine that also as you being held, you being supported, you being comforted at this time for whatever you need. I mean, you might just need a bit of downtime, time to catch your breath. You might be struggling at the moment, so you do need that support, you know, really soaking it up. So soak it up. You might just need a little bit of time to ground, to reconnect, to realign with yourself. So whatever you need that the nest and this space can offer and provide for you, then please let yourself receive it. So I imagine you receiving what you need from this space as I say your name. And it's like I imagine that I'm calling you here into this healing space. So let's start with Allison. Allison's first. I'll tuck you into the nest, Allison. Welcome. And we've got Jayne B. Jayne, tucking you into the nest as well. This is going to be really pretty. Pamela Florea, into the nest you go. So take some nice big breaths as you're being placed into the nest. Anne-Marie Douglas, tucking you into the nest. You know, it is a place of receiving. It's also a place of nurturing in the nest. It's a space of care as well, where care's been offered to you. Rebecca Ross, tucking you into the nest. Welcome. Janice Chalmers, nice big breath. So tuck you here into the nest, into the nice soft parts, you know, like the downy feathers of the bird's nest. Nicole E, tucking you into the nest to receive. Kathleen Glen, into the nest you go. And you know, you can imagine staying in the nest for as long as you want. Might be brief, it might be for a few days. Priscilla Kimboko, into the nest for you. Teala Smith, tucking you into the nest. Angie Griswold, in you go. Nicole Wiggins, tucking you into the nest, Nicole. Carol White, welcome to the nest, Carol. Kanti, Devi, Wedad, welcome to the nest. I have a little giggle because Kanti said, I'm always after Carol in the personal healing event. And literally I've just pulled your name, Kanti, after Carol for this as well. Sylvia Barley, Sylvia, into the nest you go. Oh, the lemon in this is so refreshing. Jane Corlett, into the nest for you. Oh, this one doesn't want to open. Matthew Keith, into the nest you go, Matt. Joanna Levine, tucking you in. Suzie Nicholls, into the nest. Let yourself receive. Open yourself up to receive. Bridget Mehrtens, into the nest you go. Emily Fussell, Emily, tucking you in to the nest there. I'm putting you in with care, like I feel like I'm really tucking you into bed. That's what it feels like, you know. I do that with my grandmother now. My grandmother used to do it to me, and now I do it to her. She's 98 and she's got dementia and she's quite weak and frail. And as I'm leaving her at the end of the day, I help her have her dinner when I go and visit, and then I get her into bed and I tuck her in like she used to tuck me in when I was little. And it's just so nice to be able to do that for her like she did with me. And then because her bed faces the door as I'm leaving, I wave and blow her kisses. And I remember as a child, they had a double-story house, my grandmother and my grandfather, and they lived probably 3 or 4 hours drive away from where we were as kids. So we'd only really pop through there on Christmas and maybe once a year or something other than that. And when we were leaving the driveway, Nan would be out there waving and blowing kisses. And then because when you leave the driveway, you go around the street and then you go down the main street. And you can see the upstairs when you're going down the other part. So she would run all the way upstairs and be standing up on the balcony waving and blowing kisses, and now I can do that to her as I'm leaving her room in the nursing home, and it's really beautiful. So I feel as I'm saying your names, as I'm tucking you into the nest, it feels like I'm tucking you into bed and tucking you in with love and care. So hopefully you can feel the love and care that's been offered to you, and you let yourself receive it. Chelsea Keith, tucking you into the nest now. We've got Susan Sonsteng, tucking you in here. And Angela Fraser. Welcome, Angela, and everybody, tucking you in to a little spot in there. Kimberly Veness, tucking you in. Nicki Mohler, into the nest for you, Nicki. Joanne Monroe, tucking you in. Rayna Ortiz. There we go. 2 left. Avril Daly. Avril, chucking you in here with the lavender and the lemon. So nice. And lucky last but not least is Michele Burch. Michele, tucking you in. There we go. It's all beautiful there. So here's our nest with you all tucked into your little spot, tucked into your little bed, tucked in and with comfort and love and care. And I wonder if this makes any sound. No. Not really. Okay, I'm going to play the chimes. But I want to pull a healing energy card before we do. And what I want to do is I want to place this card face down onto the center part of the nest. I don't know what the card is, obviously, but let's grab the best card for now that's going to come in over the top, as it feels like a protection. You know, like a nest here, it's safe, but it also feels a little vulnerable, like it feels vulnerable to be in the nest, but even though it's a protective place. And I want to put a card face down on here as like a lid in some ways, but like just a shield of protection, of comfort. For reassurance, really. Reassurance, personal reassurance that it is safe for us to really surrender as we drop deeply and gently into this nest for healing. So the best card the majority of us need, and those of you here on the healing list need to add to the nest, is this. It's from the original deck, and it's this card, Purification. Now this is interesting because I actually painted this, and I was just talking about my grandmother and my grandfather's house. I actually painted this not long after my grandfather passed away, and it reminded me of him, the Purification card. And it does say presence of loved ones in spirit. White light flushing through your spine, cleansing, purging, washing, clean yourself out, connect, and the presence of our loved ones in spirit. So our loved ones in spirit are coming in and kind of guarding, standing guard, protecting, caring for. And in that care, in that guardedness is protection, it is safety. There is a cleansing, purging feeling here. So some of us, maybe you, might be in this nest for clearing and for cleansing and for purging, not just letting yourself receive, but if you're struggling to receive, then maybe let go of the stuff that you're holding on to first. If you want to receive, if you want to feel this love and this gentleness and this care, this support that's coming in for you, that's been offered, but you're struggling to really deeply feel it, then maybe do some clearing first Clear the way, make the room for yourself to receive. So that's that. Okay, I'm going to play the chimes, and I want to get into a nice rhythm. And you know I'm playing for you, so allow yourself to receive what's being played for you. So I'm going to start at the heart, and then I'm just going to let the chimes guide me. Let's take some nice big breaths, and I'll chat with you when I'm done. So I imagine the sound of the chimes, the rhythm coming in and supporting you, that you receive what you need. But if you're struggling to receive, like I say, use this as a time to purge and to clear. Work with your breathing to help you let go, so you can breathe out and let go and really surrender and make room for this energy that wants to come in, that you are wanting and needing to receive. So enjoy. Okay, take a deep breath when you're ready. Just going to grab my other singing bowl, just here. Take a nice big breath. Feels like something's really opened up. Something's really opened up and dropped in as I've been playing there. So I trust that you've enjoyed the chimes and the bowl. Let's grab another card here. So how are you feeling? How are you doing? Do you feel held and supported and comforted, cared for in these moments? Do you feel like you're not alone, that there is energy and there are people that support you? That would be awesome. Beautiful, Janice. Oh, hi, Jane. Oh, yep. Wonderful. Welcome. Okay, let's grab a card. I want to grab a card. I just want to talk a little bit. I don't know what about. I guess about the theme and whatever the card is. So we're just going to talk for a little bit and then we'll see what happens. So I'm looking for the best card that we need at this point. This won't be the last card I pull during this event. So the best card for now, and to further discuss, we have Healing Energy cards number 2, Reset. Okay, Reset card 79. It's in the neutral category, which is center, and it says this is a chance to start over. Beautiful, Jane. A chance to start over. I mean, this is what the nest is, isn't it? The nest does represent that time, almost that transitional time into something new. You know, I think of the birds getting ready, or the babies, the children getting ready to leave the nest and go out into the world. There is an element of new that comes as we prepare to, whenever we're ready, whether it's now or whether it's later or whether it's tomorrow or the next day, whenever we're ready to leave the nest, like birds leaving the nest, it is a renewal of sorts. It's a chance to start over. It says an opportunity exists now the unknown, the void, a fresh start. Potential, the blank canvas, anything is possible. And be proactive. So there's an action element too to this card, but that's when we're ready to leave and exit the nest. I, for myself, at least for now, I feel like I want to stay in the nest a little bit today and maybe rest and just move a little bit at a slower pace, just to sort of feel and soak up the energies that I can receive, even though I'm not on the list. Like I can feel, I mean, I've created this space, so I'm feeling this energy very strongly. And I feel like I want to just sit in it for a little bit. So there's no urgent rush. So while we're sitting in it, while we're held here, whether it be for a few minutes or a few hours or a few days, hopefully it shouldn't be much longer than a few days, then we don't need to be proactive. We can be in the space of the nest. We can be in the space of comfort and maybe a bit of slowness, a bit of gentleness, a bit of receiving, switching off if we need to, especially if things have been busy and we've been very, there's been things on our mind that we're dealing with. We might need this time in the nest just to sort of switch off, listen to some music, catch up on sleep, eat a nourishing cooked meal, enjoy something warm, some nice soup or something like this. Yes, yes, Janice, stay in for as long as you need. So, we don't have to be proactive when we're in the nest. But this card is about that time when we leave and we move out of the nest and we are motivated. And it is a motivation of sorts, isn't it? Like, it's not often, unless we are probably in a bit of a rut or we're in hermit mode, it shouldn't be that often that we have to be dragged out of the nest or dragged out of our hidey hole. So once we've received what we need, the TLC, the tender loving care, or whatever it is that we need from the nest, once we've received what we need, then there's sort of a natural momentum or a natural shift in the cycle that moves into a more energetic, motivated state where we may just jump up in a random moment to go, right, I'm ready now to do this next thing. I'm ready to go outside. I'm ready to do this task. I'm ready to restart, to start over. So it could be physical things that we're doing in our everyday life, everyday things, or it could be things that we're facing at this time in our life, changes in our actual life that we're preparing for, and we're preparing to start over again, to have a fresh new start. This card, this center mandala here, it's got an egg shape in the center, which is interesting with the nest, isn't it? So maybe we're all of you in here on the healing list, maybe you're all like little eggs incubating here in the nest, eggs waiting for the right moment to crack open and be born. Oh yeah, thanks, Jane. Jane. We've got both Janes in here. Jane from Germany, and I don't know what the other Jane said. Knowing the nest is there when I need it, will happily fly and do things, then return and snuggle, play and do whatever I need to do in the nest. That sounds beautiful, Jane. That sounds so playful and beautiful, like it's almost coming home. That home feeling in the nest, isn't it? So with the egg element is interesting. Imagining perhaps for you, maybe it's more resonant for you that you are like an egg incubating here in the nest, warming yourself, growing in the egg until that egg, the capacity of the egg is full and there's no room for growth anymore. So you break out of the egg and you're ready to fly. You're ready to test your wings and test your strength and test yourself. So not only is there an egg shape here in the center of this mandala, this almost feels like a nest in itself, like we're looking down, bird's eye view of the nest, the bird's eye view. So that's also interesting relating to the nest, is that energy of the bird's eye view. And the bird's eye view, reminds me of the bigger picture. It reminds me of stepping back from things that we've got going on in our life and looking at the bigger picture from a different view or a different viewpoint. And maybe even just these minutes that we're spending or however much time you need in the nest, maybe this is also time where you can withdraw from your everyday stuff you've got going on, the stuff that you're going crazy with perhaps in your life, and taking a break. Maybe the nest is the break for you, the break to give you a bird's eye view, a bigger vantage point, a different perspective of what you've got going on that you're maybe going a bit crazy with, or that's really impacting you, perhaps that's quite difficult for you to go through right now in your life. So maybe that's why you're in the nest, for a perspective shift. And then the nest, so if we look at this, an egg and then the nest from a bird's eye view looking down, and then we've got all these swirling like galactic clouds, because this is out in space. There are stars out here, and there's like galactic clouds that are swirling around here in support. It feels like support. It feels like new creative energy, primal energy that's wanting to come in, that's waiting for the right time to come into the nest and offer whatever it has to offer us in life. It could be opportunities, could be people that we could benefit from coming into our lives, or us coming into theirs. It's kind of like the universe, the creative energy, raw creation, preparing to come in and shake things up a little bit, take us to new places, inspire us to keep moving. So very interesting. Reset. I'm going to add that here as well. Actually, we'll put that here. I'll put that here at the front. And I'm going to keep this nest here. I'm going to keep all this in place. And the last card that I pulled for our event today, I'm going to pop that on the chimes. So I'm just going to play this for just a moment or two. So nice big breath, because it feels like things are being revealed, you know, like, why are you in the nest? What do you need from the nest right now? And it may shift and adjust over the minutes or the hours or the days that pass. But have you got an idea now as to what you need from the nest? What do you need from this place? Do you need to reset? Do you need to heal? Oh, blossoms on the tree this morning. Yeah, it's interesting. I was going to grab some blossoms to put in here, but I didn't. So I had my hands full, and two, it was cold, and three, I didn't have anything cut that I could cut, because my quince is in flower at the moment. These beautiful peachy, I can see it out there, peachy red sort of blossoms. Okay, so nice big breath, because I'm going to now pull our last card. This is our card that represents what's next for us. And I'm thinking about now what's next when we leave the nest. So like I said a couple of times, however long we need to be in the nest, let's be in the nest. Let's not stick ourselves away there forever, because life's out there for us to live. But if over the next few days we need a bit of nest time, a bit of home time, a bit of rest time, healing time, then it's okay if we need that. But what's to come after that? Where are we going once we leave the nest? That's what I want to find out. So whether that's now for you, or whether it's tomorrow or later in the week, what do we need to know about the time when we leave the nest? What do we need to keep in mind when we leave here? So what's the best card for the majority of us for our time whenever it is that we leave the nest? So the best card is this. It's also from the original deck. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is funny. Card 46, Spiritual Surgery. Because I almost mentioned this card before, because whenever I was saying, when the Healing Hands card came up, I was saying when I personally have like a physical ailment or a physical pain or something in my body that I'm trying to resolve or let it move on, I will go straight to the Healing Hands card and the Spiritual Surgery card. These two are the two in the whole entire deck, both decks included, deck 1 and deck 2. These are the two cards that are very much about physical healing. So before I even go into the card, it makes me wonder how many of you are connecting today who aren't feeling that well physically. I'm not feeling 100% physically myself, which is partly why I am very tuned into this gentle energy, and that I'm going to really soak this up today and just kind of rest and let my body heal. And I'm absolutely going to these two cards in my deck because they've come up today and because my body is not 100%. But all is well. It's not a big problem. It's just part of having a body. So I wonder how many of you connecting now or later to the replay are actually dealing with, and your body's not 100% right now. So this is Spiritual Surgery card 46. It's in the rest category, so it's highlighting rest energy. Now let's keep in mind that my intention in pulling this card was the time when we leave the nest. So it looks like the healing continues when we leave the nest. This is not just the place for healing. Healing continues all the time. It's 24/7 really. If we allow it to be our healing time period. So yes, this is a time of healing, beautiful time in this nest, but also when we leave the nest, we're continuing to heal and we're continuing to resolve things and release things that are showing up or that are problematic for us. It says down here, deep healing, energetic healing for your body, blockages and pain. Relax and allow healing to take place. Self-healing and support your body. So it could also mean too, as we leave the nest, what do we need to do and to continue to support and nurture our body in the way that we are grateful to receive while we're in this space and while you're receiving now. How can you carry a bit of this through into your life as more of an ongoing habit, if you like, or an ongoing routine, an ongoing something that you carry forth. So with this image here, this represents you. This represents us, the self, in the individual here. Receiving. There's a being here, a really large being, spiritual surgeon here, over the top of all of us now. Coming in around with strong healing energy and offering us what we need for our physical body for deep, deep healing. And there is almost like a comfort feeling here. It's like, you know, a mother's arms around a baby or a nest around a baby or an egg. There is a blanket that's being put over us as comfort and support. So not only should we consider remembering this now, but also consider remembering it as we move into our life and as we deal with the things that the everyday things that we're dealing with in life itself. Again, letting ourselves receive, but letting things change. Healing is change. So we have to be willing to change ourselves and change our life or to move with the healing. And I am really drawn to that rhythmic energy now that I felt before I started here. The moving with the rhythm of our life requires us to adapt and to change and to improve and to move and to release. It's not a stuck place. Healing is not a place that we're stuck in unless we're not letting the energy move and we're not willing to change. So if we're not letting the energy move and we're not willing to change, things will become stuck. And we won't ever want to leave the nest. We'll probably want to be hermit. We'll probably want to be withdrawn. So if we're really serious about our healing, which it sounds like we at least should consider that if we're not feeling that. Some of us may be feeling that. I'm feeling that. I want to go deep with my healing. But depth is really something I'm interested in. If you really want to be serious and deep with your healing, then this is the time to soften up. You know, we're safe and protected in here, Let's open up to ourselves. Let's be vulnerable. Let's be sensitive. Let's be receptive. Let's be willing to change so that we can heal on those really deep levels. So my spiritual surgeon, Marion, is coming in, and he's comforting, wrapping himself around us like a big blanket to support our healing. And now it's up to us to work with this energy as we need to shift and improve things in our life. So I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, I'm going to leave this set up for a few days at least until I need to disassemble. So I don't know when that will be, but it will be here for at least a few days. So imagine yourself continuing to be here for as long as you need to. And thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support to my patrons who are on the healing list today. If you would like to be part of this next time, then you can learn more on my Patreon page, which you can find the direct link in the video description. So it's the $15 level or higher. Will give you, not instant, it will give you automatic access to this healing event for next month. Oh, hi Bridget. Thanks so much, Janice. So thank you for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day. You know, go gently with yourself. Drink lots of water. Think about how you can comfort and support you. Thanks, Jane. And your body. So maybe a nice pot of soup, maybe a nice cuppa of your favourite herbal tea, maybe your favourite movie, something that you can just do nice and gently today or over this next few days that suits you and what you've got going on. Our next healing event will be at the end of August, so I look forward to that. And at the end of September, so every September for the last 5 years or 6 years or something, maybe even 7 years, I don't know, but for years, every September healing list event is our planting the seeds for new beginnings, because it's the time where I plant my potatoes. And it reminds me, I've got to get out there and do some digging and get the ground nice and fertile, but it's been quite cold and windy, but I'll get out there before the end of September. So the end of September will be the planting the seeds for new beginnings, as I do every September. And next month, I have no idea what we're going to do. The planting the new seeds is the only one that I have planned. The others unfold as I'm preparing in the hours that lead up to the event. So thank you again. Have a great rest of your day, and I trust you found this helpful and supportive and healing for you. Send you lots of love from my heart to yours. Namaste.